Texans across the state are saddened by the tragic loss of life. The storms that have now claimed at least 7 lives. There's no information that there's more than that who have been found deceased, but we know at least 7 have lost their lives. Another, at least about 100 people have been injured. It's hard to tell with certainty right now on that number, but based upon those that have already reported, as well as local officials, we estimate there being close to 100 people who were injured.
100 people.
More than 200 homes and structures were listed as destroyed. Another more than 120 were listed as damaged. I'm shocked that those numbers are not increased as further assessments are made. And right behind us is a gas station which has now gone viral across the country. I saw the harrowing video inside the Valley View gas station as the tornado passed through, with the people stockpiled in there, clinging to safety. Literally is a miracle that everybody made it through the devastation that destroyed that gas station, but they made it out alive. Candidly, it's been a harrowing week. Lives lost, property reduced to rubble. The hopes and dreams of Texas families and small businesses have literally been crushed by storm after storm. This storm that we are talking about right now is a storm where the tornadic activity traversed about 50 miles. That may not include even further areas around here where there is even more damage being reported. At the same time that we are going through the heart-wrenching loss of life, including the heartbreak of a family losing a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old child. When they woke up yesterday and had no way of knowing how the family would be literally crushed by this horrific storm. But we've seen, amidst all of this tragedy, some heroism. Heroism by people behind me, heroism by people who will never be known. We've had first responders step up and be involved in rescuing people, perhaps saving lives. The volunteer fire departments in this region have received rave reviews for their response to these storms. Texas Task Force 1, which is involved in search and rescue operations, has been their typical outstanding self. Law enforcement has stepped up and helped out. Local, state, and federal officials have all been a part of this solution process. But in typical Texas fashion, we have friends and neighbors and fellow Texans just helping out one another. And that's what we have come to see time and again in our state. It's one thing that makes Texas so exceptional, and that's the character of our fellow Texans who will drop everything to help out their fellow residents. It's a reminder that our lives are not measured by the adversity that we face. Instead, they're measured by how well we respond to that adversity. Texans are responding with our typical care, love, and generosity that we have for one another. We know that it's not only this region that we're in right now that's been devastated by destructive storms. It's happened all across the state. Before today, I've already declared a disaster in 102 counties across the state. At this moment, I'm going to add 4 more counties to that count. signed a disaster declaration that adds Denton, Collin, Cook, and Montague counties to the state disaster declaration. So there are now 106 Texas counties subject to a gubernatorial disaster declaration. That's more than a third of all Texas counties that are now subject to a disaster declaration. Earlier today, I spoke with the FEMA administrator. It's the second time in a week that I've spoken with her. She has pledged support to work with the state, local communities, and our residents as we go through the process of healing and recovery. I also want to thank Tony Robinson. Tony, where are you? Tony Robinson is the regional administrator for FEMA. Tony is from and lives in Hinton County.
I got you.
We're proud to have you from Hinton County. Tony, thank you for everything. The Texas Division of Emergency Management has provided a rapid response to all of these locations around the entire state of Texas that have been affected by these storms. They've been saving and protecting lives and property. They've been assisting local governments with all of their local needs and assisting local residents with their very profound challenges. The Texas Department of Transportation has been working non-stop since the storm hit, working to clear lanes, remove debris, and provide temporary traffic signals where needed. The Texas Department of Public Safety, of course, is always involved in a response like this, ensuring that they're able to maintain safety and security on the streets and in our neighborhoods. The Texas Military Department, the Texas National Guard, they're involved in helping our local communities respond in various different ways. And the Texas Forest Service has stepped up and are helping out to clear trees as well as other debris to make sure that the debris removal process will be able to accelerate. I also want to thank some elected officials who are with us here today, including Congressman Malcolm Burgess, State Representatives Spiller and Stuckey, Cook County Judge Roan, Cook County Sheriff Sappington, Texas Division of Emergency Management Assistant Chief Kevin Starbuck. We now move into a different stage as we respond to this devastating storm. Texas will remain engaged and involved with these communities until that process is completed. The first thing we're doing, which is going on as we speak, and that is to make a final round of search and rescue operations just to see if there's anybody else out there who needs to be rescued. Then we move to full aid, support, and supplies, where people need immediate assistance. And we have some great volunteer organizations that stepped up and started providing that overnight. For example, on aid and supplies, we have Valley View Methodist Church providing food and water. There may be some others providing food and water also at the same time. I would not be surprised. There's an urgent need for housing for all these people who have been displaced. Temporarily, the First Baptist Church Community Center is taking the lead in providing that, as well as the Red Cross. And very important, anybody, this is information that you as the media need to be a part of and getting out. And that is anybody who's been harmed in any way by the storm. If you have insurance, you need to make sure you contact your insurance company ASAP. Get them involved in the process. The other thing is, we as a state, whether it be State of Texas Division of Emergency Management or local officials, all of us are working together on a similar project, and that is to make damage assessments. In order for Texas and this region to be able to qualify for federal assistance, we have to submit information to FEMA about the total damage assessments. I need the media to help us out by getting this website address out, and that is damage.tden.texas.gov. That's the website you go to report any type of damage. Again, that's damage.tden.texas.gov. Also, as you can just tell by looking around, one of our foremost tasks right now is to be involved in the debris removal process. That process will continue until we remove every last part of the debris. And then we get into the rebuild phase. Again, addition to that, there will be the possibility of disaster assistance, and again, that goes back to reporting damage to damage.tddm.texas.gov. You know, amidst this rubble, when arriving here today, I drove up this road right in front of us. As I was driving up that road, you can see all these RVs that were crushed, and truly nothing more than rubble. You see what's behind you and what's in front of you. Nothing but debris. But also there's one thing that remains flapping in the wind. That's the flag of the United States of America. I'm proud of America, our state, for coming together at times like these. And my urge to everybody across our state, take a moment in time tonight to say a prayer for everybody who is in harm's way. They need your prayers. They need your support. And God willing, we will help them rebuild their lives as quickly as possible. Now I want to turn to Judge Rose, County Judge of Cook County.
I would like to, first of all, thank everyone that's here. I would like to thank everyone who has taken part in the effort since last night, since the weekend. I would like to compliment and thank the commissioners.
I can't hear him.
All have been here since countless hours, since yesterday, taking care of taking care of people, taking care of whatever needs to be done. I'd like to make sure that Ray Fletcher and TDEM people that have been here, and all other people that have come here, get their recognition. And at this point in time, to follow up on what the
The upper
governor
one,
said,
he must be way up in it. He's got like 2 stars on his.
I would like everyone,
Like he's pretty important on the state troopers. That's the reason why they got all the little mics right there.
Thank you very much. Mine was much like the one I said last night when I was sitting on my house on Lee Street, watching the tornado on the radar head right straight for us. And that prayer, I think, is the only thing that saved me from collapsing us. Thank you very much, and thank everybody that's taken part of this.
Thank you, Judge. And now Ray Fletcher, the Cook County Emergency Management Corps. Thank you, Governor. You know, we appreciate everybody being here today and, of course, remembering those we've lost. But, you know, the effort it takes to respond to an event like this and have a unified command where everybody shows up to help. No egos showed up. Everybody knew they had a job to do and they were going to do whatever to help out and save and make this a rise. It's a great opportunity for everyone to come together. They did a great job doing that. Our job continues, as you said, we'll continue Starbuck, the Assistant Chief of the Texas Division of Emergency Management.
Okay. Good afternoon, and I'd like to start off with just the importance of preparedness. Here in the state of Texas, we have a very dynamic spring season. We've seen it across the entire state with impacts down in the Houston area, southeast Texas, and certainly central Texas, and now even last night with the devastation here in North Texas. I can't stress enough how important it is for citizens to be prepared. Take some time to create a family disaster plan, to build a disaster supply kit, to have supplies for the first 72 hours, to be self-sustaining and to be ready for that. And then lastly, to stay weather aware, to stay informed of the hazards in our community. We had great partnerships with our National Weather Service and with others who were putting out warning well in advance. We were communicating with all of our local partners and state partners the threat that existed yesterday. And unfortunately, Mother Nature worked against us, but we were up to the challenge and responded. And our thoughts and prayers go to every one of those families that were impacted and lost loved ones or had loved ones that were injured. We continue to work together. We will work with Cook County and all the counties that were impacted last night to continue to rebuild and assist them in any way we can from the state side, and certainly coordinating with our federal partners. Lastly, as the governor has already alluded to, it's so important for us to have a total size up of the damage that exists when we have these major storms. So going to our website at damage.tdem.texas.gov is so important for us to get that information reported so that we can work with our local officials, with our state and federal counterparts to ensure that we maximize the assistance that is available to those that have been impacted. I appreciate it very much, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you all, and thanks to everybody working around the clock to help these communities rebuild. Are there any questions we can try to help you answer?
Kevin, can you talk a little bit about the advanced warning that was given to residents of Valley View? Were the sirens activated, and how much time did they have to get to a safe place?
I'm going to defer to our local county officials because warning is a authority of our local jurisdictions. And while we certainly work with our National Weather Service partners and from a state perspective to communicate general information on the threat of weather across the area, local officials are tasked with warning systems and how they communicate warning.
That particular cell, I believe, I don't know how many was in any particular location. My understanding is, as you know, driving up structure around here to take refuge in, and so people on the interstate primarily sought refuge in this place, this AP Travel Center, truck stop. And my understanding is there were approximately 125 people inside there when the tornado did hit, and then got rescued, taken out of there. Most of the vehicles, as you can see, damaged and a very unsafe environment right now. So until we get in here and get this cleaned up better, and try to do it as fast as we can, get them back there.
Has anybody killed at this time? No, not necessarily. They were just a moment to go to shower. Is there an active search ongoing right now for people who have been reported missing?
So as of right now, I am told there's no one reported missing. That said, we are making one last round of searches to make sure there is no one missing.
But Governor, of the 106 counties that have been declared as disaster areas, is that for this year as a whole? And if so, is that unusual to have that many counties declared as a disaster?
So that's for this season.
This season.
Yeah, there were some other things earlier, like as an example, remember the fires that took place in the Panhandle, things like that. Doesn't count that. It's talking about because of their tornadoes and floods that Texas has seen over the past couple of weeks.
What sort of monetary damage does that make in the state?
I'm going to break this down into two areas. Have him answer one, then I'll answer the other one. Because you asked a question more important than you may know. In order for Texas to qualify for FEMA support, we have to reach a certain amount of damages. Why don't you explain how much that is and the type of damage that are executed?
So there are two major categories of disaster assistance that we work with our federal counterparts. The first one is what we call individual assistance, and as that alludes to, that's direct assistance to homeowners that have been impacted. Typically, that requires 800 homes, major or destroyed, that are underinsured or don't have insurance. So we've been working very closely with our federal counterparts. That is a rough number. It gives and takes a little bit, but the state of Texas has exceeded that threshold, and now we are working with our federal partners on identifying county by county pockets of damage that would qualify that county for that disaster assistance. And that opens up a lot of individual assistance directly to homeowners and individuals that have been impacted by the disaster. The second piece of it is our major disaster declaration for public assistance that is designed to rebuild public infrastructure that has been damaged or destroyed in a disaster. Very similarly, the state has a threshold that is based on a per capita basis, but our threshold is in excess of about $54.5 million. With this current round of disasters that began back on April 26th, the state of Texas has exceeded that threshold with the damage that occurred down in the Houston and Southeast Texas area. We now continue to look county by county for areas where we have pockets of public infrastructure that has been damaged or destroyed, and work with our federal counterparts to exceed their county threshold to then make them eligible for grant dollars from the federal government to start to rebuild that infrastructure and bring those communities back. We feel that the 4 counties that were added to the declaration today, every one of them we feel will exceed that individual assistance declaration and will be added to the federal declaration for individual assistance. Public assistance will continue to navigate that and look at the damages to public infrastructure, but as we see here in Cook County, the vast majority of that damage is to private property and individual homes. So it may not exceed that public assistance threshold, but we certainly are never going to stop until we overturn every rock and look over every piece of information to make sure that we match.
Hot Wheels, and Brent something, I can't remember his name, but I went and did a live stream this week over in Denton, here in Denton, and Yace was one that was running against the Brent who Governor Hot Wheels has endorsed. So did Trump. He has a Trump endorsement, and he was endorsed by the governor. Well, this Yace is like a grassroots person. Hot Wheels and Brent are the establishment, from what I can tell, and Yace is one of the like grassroots person that's running. So I'm kind of curious. I'm gonna end up talking to him, but I'm gonna get off because it's just so hot, and my phone just keeps dying. So we're gonna go over to check out some more places after this is over. Eddie's listening, but when it's done, we're gonna go and check out. I think there was a mobile home park that was also destroyed. So it looks like he said 100 people have been injured. Nobody died here at the truck stop, but there were 2 kids that were missing that they were looking for, and they have been found. Unfortunately, they have both passed away. So that was really sad. So anyway, that's what I got out of it. Hopefully, if you can get this on a speaker or something where you could get it up high enough you could hear, there were websites and stuff that you could go to. There was some useful information in there. So I will come back on if we're able to get in close to the trailer park and we can do some more video. Peace out. Happy Memorial Day weekend.